You know what? Yeah, the microphone is muted. Thank you, Jen N. Uh-huh. All right, good. Well, I was just greeting everyone, so you did not miss much. All right, and today we're gonna start from talking about what's gonna happen again and again and again and again for the rest of the semester. Much. All right. Ow. Okay, okay. And today we're gonna start from talking about. Yeah, Belen, mute your mic or mute your speaker. Wear a headphone. That way you do not create the audio loop. All right, thank you. Um, it's okay, because this is very common the first week or two in this course. You see that we are actually lecturing a very, very unique form. I love it. I hope that you guys like it. I thought, that's a very futuristic way of communicating. All right. Oh, wow. Okay. Good morning. Another benefit of doing lecturing on YouTube is that I see a lot more students in the morning. Because you don't have to come physically to the campus, right? That's a lot easier, isn't it? But hey, with that said, that doesn't mean that you don't go out anymore, okay? I don't know. I was kind of a geek myself. When I'm absorbed it, I tend to stay sometimes late into the night and just keep browsing for information and forget about time. As a result, I don't always get up early. But I do understand that there are all these duties, deadlines, so I try to get up, but it's a little bit hard, okay, to achieve, okay, the original goal. Okay, good. All right, happy to see you guys. Sorry, the class is a little bit bigger this semester, so I'm not sure if I can say hi to each one of you. But I usually are here a little bit earlier. So feel free if you want to chat a little bit. You can always start chat. I can start the stream a little bit earlier so we can start chatting. Okay, but back to the subject. Every lecture we're gonna start with the screen here. It's called FYI. Okay. So what I'm showing is essentially the announcement. Hi, Claudia. And the usual announcements are the link to the lecture and the link to the Google Meet session. Feel free to join to both. That way, if you want to speak up, it's a little bit easier for you. But those who will be joining both the YouTube stream as well as the Google Meet session, make sure you have the speaker on. Otherwise, you're gonna create the audio loop. All right. And also, you might want to pause your YouTube. So I'm speaking to the Google Meet students. You might want to pause the YouTube stream when you're speaking, because otherwise you'll be hearing yourself like a few seconds later. It might be a little bit disturbing. So those who like to stay on Google Meet, my suggestion is maybe to hold on to the questions during the break. Okay, if you like the verbal form better, or during the office hour, okay, or right before the next hour of lecture. Okay, so we will have a 10-minute break on Thursday. Okay, so feel free. I will start the stream for you to ask questions a little bit earlier before the lecture start. So you can always just talk then and ask questions verbally. Okay, so hey, this is the first week. Give it a try. Usually it takes a week or two to get used to it. I know you guys, pick up these internet-oriented way of meeting each other much faster than the professors. Okay, it took me a lot of time to figure everything out, and there are a lot more new things going on now. It was amazing. It was amazing. So this is the usual screen that we will begin the lecture with. So as you see on your screen, the main main square, the big square, is the Slack workspace. Occasionally we'll see that Polly has a little bit more to say, like gentle reminder. Quiz 1 and 2 will be doing on Saturday, which I should do actually. Quiz 1 and 2 will be doing by Saturday. So you probably don't know that there are due days for the quizzes, and you guys probably ask, what is the due date of the quizzes? You know what? We are not yet done with the admin. So the first part of today's lecture is to finish all the admin stuff. Okay. All right, but then we come back to the usual form of lectures. On the upper right of the screen, you see the Google Meet session. If it's not really active, then I will probably just show the course page, which is starting with a golfer icon. So this is the mascot of the programming language you'll be learning this semester. And if you scroll down, then you begin to see what's in the course page. Okay, those who are keen and already found the course page, you would know that what are the steps you need to take to add to the course. And below, you see the links to the lectures. So this takes you to the YouTube channel where the lectures are, recordings of the lectures. And if you find the lectures are going a little bit too fast, you can also find the short clips of these video units Polly is playing in the normal speed. And of course, the link taking you to the Slack workspace, the link to the admins. You see, Polly's email address is right here in the admin page. Aaron, the TA's email is right here also in the admin page. You see also here the prerequisites. Make sure you do have one of these before you take this course. Okay, otherwise it's going to be super hard for you. And of course, the grading policy. So actually the end of yesterday's lecture is to talk about the prerequisites. Okay, so Polly has elaborated more in the lecture. Now today, we'll elaborate more about the grading policy, including the deadlines. Right? So this is the course page. And at the bottom right on your screen, you see the chat. All right, good. I think that's also a good way of seeing each other, knowing each other, and seeing yourself showing on TV or on YouTube. Now, the usual thing is also that after we finish the announcements, chit chat, then we go on and start with the first set of topics we'll talk about. So this next screen here essentially gives you the outline. Okay, so the first part of the lecture will be the content and the grading policy, and followed by a quiz. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the content. What is the scope of teaching this semester? So internet computer network is a huge topic. Okay, we won't be able to cover everything. And here's how we are going to introduce the internet. We'll break it into components and introduce them one at a time. So you'll learn about what these components are. Most of the components are straightforward, but some of them, there could be mechanisms running to sustain the operation of the internet. So we'll learn about how these mechanisms work. We'll go one more step further. Learn about why these mechanisms work this way. Okay, you'll see that there's certain classes of problems that network engineers repeatedly trying to address. Mainly about how we make sure the messages are received correctly. Mainly, the messages are delivered efficiently. Internet is the subject of our study here. We know it's huge. Not only because we have many machines connected to it, but also there's so many mechanisms being designed and implemented for it today. Now, in order to introduce them, we try to break them into categories. Okay, and the way that we categorize things is we call them layers. So it's kind of, 1, 2, 3 layer. Okay, some at the top and some at the bottom. Okay, the top layer is called the application layer. Second, transport layer. Third, network layer. Bottom, link layer. Now this is also about the order of the chapters in the textbook. Okay, at the top, we talk about the mechanisms support individual applications operation. Each application typically one mechanism to determine how messages are being sent and how messages are interpreted when they come back. So in the application layer, we have many applications. We have a high diversity of applications on the internet today. And each of them, application layer mechanism Or let me introduce the term protocol, application layer protocol. One application, one protocol. And this protocol is determining how you send a message out. So at the application layer, many protocols, each of them very simple, serving the purpose of the application they are designed for. Specific, simple. One layer down, the transport layer, you'll see that the number of mechanisms that we need to design and implement much smaller. Okay. You can count them using within 10 fingers. Okay. So number of mechanisms quickly shrink. And the mechanisms we need to design are to serve more general purposes. For example, how we send data correctly, reliably, how we send data efficiently. In fact, these functions are there to support the application layer protocol, because some applications might data to send reliably. Some applications might data being sent efficiently over being reliably. Okay, so you see one layer down. Mechanisms fewer, more general, and slightly more complicated. One more layer down, the network layer. So the functionality quickly shrink down to just two. The two mechanisms are called the routing and forwarding. So these are the mechanisms that's running in the very center part of the internet. So hey guys, didn't we just say that the internet, on it, many machines are connected to it? So I and my machine connected to the internet. You guys, your machines connected to the internet. But all these machines are called the end systems, and we are called the end users. To connect the end systems together, there is a core network, the internet core. And that network is composed by many routers. These routers, the reason they are called routers is because their main functionality is to find a route, so they can forward messages. So my video here gets to you, forwarding the video segments to you. Okay. So at that layer, even fewer functionality, even more general functionality. And you can imagine the mechanism being even more complicated. So in that chapter, you will then run into an algorithm that you might learn in the algorithm course. And unfortunately, these three layers will be the only layers we can cover this semester. The link layer and the mechanisms to support mobile wireless networking, to support multimedia networking, to support secure transfer, for example. These we won't have time to cover. Hopefully there will be another course that follow this one and finish teaching all these additional mechanisms. All right, so that was kind of a crash course of the internet, like a short recap of the internet in like 4 minutes. Good. Next is, we're not yet done with the content, but it's very straightforward. The next is just the schedule for the semester. A semester is divided into 3 parts, and this is the first 1/3. We have 6 weeks here, and there'll be 5 weeks of lectures and followed by an exam. The second third, 5 weeks, 4 weeks of lectures, and again followed by an exam. Last part, similarly 4 weeks of lectures and followed by an exam. The topics we cover going backwards, this is chapter 4 and 5, the network layer. Chapter 3, the transport layer. Chapter 2, application layer, and chapter 1, overview of the internet. And you should notice over the schedule that there will be a PA assignment, the programming assignment, doing every week or every other week. So for the first third, we do have 3 PAs. And the second third, this is the part of the semester that the PA assignments are the most intensive. The last part, we have only 2 PAs, but these 2 PA assignments, they are not exactly trivial, so just be careful. All right. And next, the grading policy. we'll be spending quite a bit of time here. So now first, the overview of the grading. Let's talk about how you earn grades, credits at the end of the semester. There'll be 100 points to distribute, and they are distributed into 3 categories. So your work here, so by homework I actually meant PAs. So these PAs altogether counts 35%. First one, very straightforward, counts only 3. The others, each counts 4 points. So you see that these PAs are important. Second category is interaction. That includes quizzes, answering quizzes, answering the quizzes in an interesting way, as well as participation, asking questions, answering questions asked by other students, or answering questions asked by Polly. Third category, exams. There will be 3 exams, each 10 points. So you see altogether 35, 35, 70 already. Exam is in fact the lowest weight among the 3 categories. Now this is just another way to break down the 100 points by whether they are teamwork or individual effort. For PAs, you work as a team. For quizzes, you also work as a team. So you discuss, you work on it. One of you represent the whole team and submit solutions. That will be fine. As the individual, participation counts based on who you are. Okay. Teammates don't get extra credits. Exams, this is also individual effort. Each of them have 30 points to earn there. But you see, the teamwork part counts 65 points. Therefore, your team is very important. So you want to find people responsive, responsible as well. Okay, so the team can have 2 people, 3 people, as well as 1 by yourself. So loners allowed. The same members, you'll be working as a group throughout the semester. So these are the things you'll be working in a group. Occasionally, I think once in like 3-4 years, there'll be students asking to break up from the team. Okay. That is also allowed. Okay. I thought that would be interesting for you to observe. If you fail to manage your time well, you're dragging your teammates down and they might get angry. And I would also like those who find their teammates are not responsive and not contributing enough. You get angry, right? You get this emotion. But maybe the teammate was just not very good at managing time. College is a period of time you learn how to manage time and manage emotion. Okay, so I don't know if there will be breakups this semester. We'll see. All right, so that's the overview. We'll go down to each of the parts: PA, quizzes, participations, and exams in detail. Here's to talk a little bit more specific about each category that you are earning grades. So homework assignments, essentially PAs. You guys will be working on a Unix workstation that I'll be giving you the user account and the password so you can log on. If you take a look at the PA assignments description, you will see a little bit more how you log on and try and follow through the description to complete the assignment. Okay. And for the socket programming part, you'll be using Golang. All the submissions are in electronic format. From the description, you will see how you submit. Stage 1 is for you to exercise a particular type of socket which is commonly used. It's called the TCP socket. PA1, you just need to log on to a Unix server and exercise the basic Unix commands, so you know how to go places and generate files, edit files. PA2, the first serious goal and assignment, accessing file, but we are not doing socket yet. Okay, how do you read from a file? How do you write into a file? PA3, now, can you read from a file and upload that file to a server? Or, upload to a server. So you're writing a client to upload the file. The server is waiting for the file to come. Okay. PA4, now turn around. You are implementing the server side taking files. And it's a server that takes only one file upload and close. PA5, it's a looping server. That server will stay on, so we could accommodate multiple file uploads, from different clients. PA6 is to further extend the PA5 server such that not only we can take multiple uploads, these multiple uploads can be simultaneous. So the uploads can be coming in the same time, or coming in such that it feels like the files are uploaded at the same time. It's a concurrent server. So this is a series of assignments, exercises, so that you do socket programming. As a result, you are capable of writing client side of application, a file upload application, and sophisticated server side of the file upload server, file upload application. Second stage, we switch gear. Golang is a programming language, comes with lots of side libraries. One of them is the web server is already implemented there. You just need to call the APIs the correct way, then you already set up a web server. So in this stage, there are 3 PAs. First is for you to write a web request interpreter. So this is to write the web server side. After receiving a web request, interpreting the content of the request. The web request is a message coming from a web client. The server needs to first get it and interpret it. Next, again, progressively in PA8, you finish the second part of the server, which is to generate the file, the web page the client is looking for. So you generate the response. So web response sender. Generate a response and send it back to the client. Third, nowadays, there are pretty much no HTTP servers around. All of the servers are HTTPS. How do you make your server a secure web server, an HTTPS server? So second stage, 9 PAs. Now, just one more thing. For the PAs, there's a PA description. It's a PDF file. You read through it and work on the PA. There's also a set of assistive videos. If you ever get stuck, watch the videos. If you feel Polly is talking too slow, just, it's YouTube video, right? Speed it up to 2 times, 1.5 times. And get to the point you get stuck and you see how Polly, maybe Polly talk about think this way, think that way in the video. So the PAs, the description, as well as the assistive, the series of videos are there to help you so that you can work along. And the whole set together is to make up for the 2 weeks we don't have lectures. The difference is just that you guys need to work on the PA during the 16 weeks that we have lectures. So I'm kind of, making things also concurrent. So your semester is a little bit, for this course, is a little bit more compact. And then the 2 more weeks there, you don't have to do anything for this course. But busier the first 16 weeks. All right, so probably need to add a little bit more here, especially about the very last few seconds of the video. Starting this semester, NTU semester are always 16 weeks only. Okay? We used to have very long 18-week semester. Okay? But in order to introduce the change from 18 to 16 weeks, we have a sort of a transition number of semesters where we have like 16 plus 2 weeks, 16 weeks of lectures and 2 weeks of self-study. Okay? So the PAs are actually packaged in a way that you can self-study. Now, starting this semester, the PAs are still there. You still need to self-study. So think of it that the whole program, okay, in the semester is a lot more compact. So 2 more weeks more compact. Okay. So just to clarify the last few seconds of the video. Now next, the detail of doing quizzes and participation. Next, the quizzes. They will just pop up in the middle of the lecture, but these problems are related to the topics we just talked about or we will be talking about. So you'll be given time to work on the quizzes in class. Those straightforward quizzes will be given shorter amount of time. Those that are a little bit more open, that requires creativity and brainstorming, will be given more time. Okay, so you guys try to find your teammate, establish another channel like a line chat group there to have discussion, and type up the conclusion. Type up whatever you have on Slack, and this is what typically students do. There's going to be a channel created for each quiz. Okay, so when I say quiz time, okay, then I'm going to introduce the quiz, and then you can go see if the channel is right there on Slack and type up your solution there. All right, so post your solutions on Slack, okay, right there in class. Definitely, that's great. We'll talk about the solutions in class. Now, those who prefer to watch videos offline, type up your solution by Saturday, 6 p.m. And this is for the quizzes given that week. Okay. Now, some of you might prefer verbally tell me what you have come up with. It's okay. You can call in using Google Meet and just speak about it. Now, the quiz part of the grade is going to be graded based on completion rate. If you finish 3/4 of them, you get 3/4 of the 25 points. Those solutions, okay, that are thoughtful, unique, and those that are quick and amazing gets extra points. So there'll be 5 extra points reserved to those teams who are particularly creative, particularly thoughtful, particularly quick, okay, at typing things up. Okay. So together, quiz, 30 points. The PAs and the quizzes, they all come with the due date and due time. If you submit late, there's going to be a penalty. And the amount of penalty depends on how late you are. If you are late, only a few minutes within an hour, 10% deducted. Beyond 1 hour, but within 6 hours, 20%. So you can follow this chart here and see that if it's more than 1 day late, all points are taken. Okay, so be careful. Don't be late. Class participation. So there's 5 points towards the semester grade comes from participation. Essentially, all interactions count. Therefore, when you are interacting with me, with other students, identify yourself. So all interactions, including on Slack, on YouTube, as well as email. Right there live during the lecture or offline, okay, all counts. So it's not just interacting with me, but also interacting with the other students. This part of the grade is going to be based on a curve. Some of you might be more active, some of you might be less active. Okay, we'll scale the 5 points across from 0 to 5 to those who participate more versus less. Okay, so there's going to be a maximum point, participation point, and minimum participation point, and they'll be scaled to 0% to 5%. All right, so 2 key points. PAs and quizzes, okay, for that week are all due by Saturday, 6 p.m. If you are late, there'll be some points in proportion being deducted. Point number 2, and point number 2 is something that I did not mention in the video. That is, for example, what you guys are doing here, right? Saying hi to each other, saying hi to Polly, those all count. And Polly actually will record all these. So your participation on the chat, your participation on Google Meet, your participation on Slack, as well as email exchange with Polly or Aaron, okay, the TA. Though all of these count. Oh, very smart, Yuxiang. Yeah, definitely. That's 1 point. But you see also that to try to avoid you guys abusing each of the channels, I'll count up to 5 and then stop counting. Okay, that is saying, because it's very easy, right, to type mumbo jumbo. So try to provide quality input. Okay, and try to be nice and polite. Say hi to each other. Okay. By the way, be kind, be polite. That takes you a long way. You do not see an immediate effect for being polite or kind. A lot of times you might appear that being a little bit stupid, being nice to people, but people don't actually, pick it up. But it's gonna accumulate. It's gonna be good for you. Now, there's one more thing, which is very critical, the exams. By the way, PAs, quizzes, you can see that they are a lot more manageable. You can actually start working on the PAs already. If you have more time, do proceed, because it's designed to allow self-studying. So as long as you have free time, you can go on instead of waiting for the deadline to come and then start preparing. Oh, good. I mean, during the break, when you see the outline slide or during the break, it's time also to ask questions. So I see a question from TL. How do you know who I am? Should I change to an account with real name? Yeah, TL, you're probably new to the class, because yesterday Polly already mentioned that all of these platforms, you want to show your real name, especially the name that appear on NTU record, so that Polly can match who you are, so Polly can record your participation. You see? It's for your own good. So, I mean, either change the ID of your Google account momentarily, or create an account especially for taking course. Okay. There, I get another question. This is Junwei. What is the precise due time for PAs? Yeah, they are also 6 p.m. I think they are also 6 p.m. You know what, Junwei, that's a very good question. I'm going to update the announcement. So I'm going to update the announcement for this week with point number 3, saying the quiz number 1, number 2, as well as, actually this week we don't have PA doing. So for next week, then I will say PA1 will be doing by Saturday, and the exact day and the time. Okay. So you see that the announcement, probably by Friday, you want to check again exactly what are doing, okay, by Saturday. Okay, Junwei, that's a very good point. It's not on the side. All right, so next is exam. Okay, exam is the part that is a little bit hard to have control of. And sorry guys, exam is the part that I want to differentiate you guys. You see that the world is fair and not fair at the same time. Fair in a way that usually when you spend more time, you get rewards, more rewards. It's not fair also in the meantime that those who have the ep2 of thinking towards the content that you'll be learning in the course, pick things up faster, get things faster, and therefore they are allowed to go deeper in understanding the whole mechanism better than the other students. Okay, that is also called this thing, talent. Something that you want to pick up. It's not something you learn. Well, actually, it's something that you learn about yourself as well. Every one of you is different. You are talented one way or another. Trust me. Not fair. It's okay. There'll be something that's fair for you, Hongru. You just need to find what it is. Okay? So the exams, of course, they'll be hard because otherwise you don't know, right, whether you are really good at it. If you find something, some subject that is so hard for other students, but appearing easy for you, then that is your thing. You see? Think about this. So it's not a shame at all that you did not do well or you don't do well in an exam. It's actually an opportunity for you to know yourself better. Okay. But the hard part of about learning yourself is also if you do not spend enough time to prepare for the exam. That is also saying that the result might not tell the truth. A general suggestion is seriously try to manage your time. Do not try to take too many courses that is out of your capacity, because that way you might identify where you might be good at. Hey, I know you guys are smart. You know what I'm saying, all right? So the exams, they are designed to challenge you. They are designed to test you. They are designed to allow you to screen yourself, to reflect yourself. Exam. We know that it's going to be in Google form. The all Google Forms, including the all exams, are all available from the exam link from the course page. Definitely try them out. In addition to working on the Google Forms, most of these questions are in the Q&A form. You will see. You need to also join a Google Meet video session. So you need to have a working camera. You need to have a stable internet connectivity as well, so that at least we could check the picture on your ID. You need to show your ID. We need to see the picture on the ID and your face right there in front of the camera. And throughout the exam, we need to show yourself also shoulder up in front of the camera, so we could see that you are busy working on the exam instead of chatting, talking, okay, to other people. There's no early or makeup exam because it's online. You can take it anywhere around the world, okay, as long as there's internet access. Now, in case we find any weird behavior, you receive 0 for the grades, and we report to the department of the university. There's a late submission penalty for the exam as well. If it's late but within 1 minute, 12 points deducted. If it's within 2 minutes but beyond 1 minute, 25 points. Within 3 minutes, beyond 2 minutes, 50 points deducted. Otherwise, all points deducted. All right, so that was the exams. The fact is that I cannot tell you exactly what the exams came from and what the questions are going to be. Right. You see the rules. You see the format. I think yesterday or maybe Yeah, maybe on the web page you will see. So maybe I can take you to the web page. You see that there's a link says exams right here. All right. If you click in, you see a lot more detailed descriptions. So there are basic rules. And to take the exams remotely, you do also have some system requirements. Please do set these things up for you. Pretend that you might potentially be a YouTuber someday. So upgrade the network access, upgrade your audio, video. So at least you are, fluent on the internet. Cautions, things that you should not do, because then it will fail the purpose that you get to observe yourself. Yeah, I know. This is a very different form of taking exam because you'll be working on things on Google Form. While most of you just do paper, right? Given question, you start writing. It's natural, so there's no anxiety at all dealing with a very new form of exams. But think about it. After COVID, lots of exams are going online, right? TOEFL, GRE, GMAT, whatever, G something. Many of the exams that you take to get a certificate of something are also going online. It's a trend. So think of it that you're also picking up a skill, being more natural and fluent doing things online. Interviewing a company, for example, also online now. All right, so this is an opportunity as well for you to kind of, train your mind, get some mental strengths to deal with interacting people this way. So handle anxiety. I understand. I mean, this is probably the first time that you do exams online. I do provide some stuff that you can, take advantage of and see if you can handle it. So, for example, the old exams in Google Form, you can try to work on them. I think the challenging part is that given the time limit, you need to finish all the questions. It's very hard. In fact, the exams are all designed so that it's so long, you won't be able to complete. So you just do the best you can. And this is fair because everyone is given the same exam set. So if you are quicker, if you can, associate faster, you win. And then, of course, there are some videos I also provided for you to train your the anxiety that if you couldn't complete something, you couldn't have control of something. I understand that some of you in the class, being NTU-EE student or being academically outstanding, you guys are probably perfectionists to some degree. And so for perfectionists, you've got to have closure. You've got to feel that I've done the job. That is great. You see that it's reflected in your academic record, but that is also a little bit dangerous because real life is not quite like that. There will be always to-dos. Things to do, things to complete. You might want to get used to that. For something, it takes some time, but there'll be more things that's coming up, and these tasks will overlap. So mentally, get used to this. It's gonna be endless. The best way to try to do this is to enjoy. Enjoy life, enjoy the process, okay? Instead of enjoying the end. It's a little bit hard to understand, I understand. Think about it. Okay, so this is the exam part. Loss in the admin stuff is just the textbooks. Loss is just the class material. There's a textbook, It's the very classic computer network top-down approach book. We'll use the 7th edition. There's an 8th edition, but the difference is just very little. So let's stick to the 7th edition. The goal and assignments, there's a reference book. It's freely online. The PDF is accessible from the course page. Slides in PDF format available from the course page. Videos on YouTube also available from the course page. Everything else on Slack. And if you cannot find them, just ask. All right. So let me go over the comments and questions about grading. That's important, I understand. So, okay, so we talked about this. Due time for PA. Okay, yeah, I mentioned already that Hongru, you will find something that's fair. Some subject that'll be fair to you. Oh, very good question. Hey, Mingze, you probably know what the next quiz is. Okay, how do you find your teammates? You know what? Quiz 2, which is coming up right after I go through the questions and comments, is to find teammates. And I'll talk about how you can find teammates. Use the workspace. There's a channel called Random over here. Come up here and say that, hey, I'm available, looking for teammates, right? And you might see other people looking for teammates. And you might have already friends in the class that you are already forming a team of 2 people. Maybe you don't mind adding another one. Direct message those who are looking for teammates. And those who are looking for teammates, as an individual, message each other. Okay? So I'll talk about quiz 2 in a few minutes. Everything seems so difficult to me. Oh, you know what, Wei Shan? That is very normal. That is very normal. I actually like difficult things, difficult problems. I don't know about you, but it's actually more interesting when the problem is challenging enough, difficult enough. Of course, problems that are overly difficult is very, very frustrating. But usually what happens is that once you tackle the problems that are slightly difficult, then you can take on the problems that are slightly more difficult, and it goes on and push on. And then sometimes you might amaze yourself that even the very difficult problems you thought originally, you managed to solve them. I think it's, try to think positively of yourself, right? You give it a try. If it didn't work out this time, maybe, next week, try it again. A couple of days later, try it again. Or talk to your friends and see how they think. And maybe that inspire you, and then you rethink about the problem. Yeah, that's called the problem-solving process. Okay. We don't teach this explicitly, but there is a process. Oh, Hongru, you are welcome. You're welcome. And I think Zongmin here is actually mocking you. Happy to see that you guys mocking each other. That usually meant that you are the best friends. Only the best friends can mock each other. Good for you, Hongru and Zongmin. I probably see you two forming a team. And Belen? Yes, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. What else? Okay. I guess Tianya is LT or TL. Good. I see you finally. Yeah, and the class see you. Okay, so I think there's probably a love triangle here. Hongru needs Wei Shan. Okay, sorry about that, Zongmin. Complicated relationship there going on. Let's see, Jen En, do we need to buy a green screen background for the exam? Very good question. Jen En, you can exploit this as an opportunity to upgrade your gear towards being a YouTuber. You're welcome, but really, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. But if you are a student who don't like to make up your bed after you wake up, because the exams are always Thursday morning, okay, and I see many of you are probably joining the exam from the dorm or from the bedroom. Unless you can try to tune the camera to an angle that includes you and you are sitting comfortably, so that you can work on a laptop, and the background has no messy stuff. Otherwise, yeah, having a green screen helps. Okay, so it's not necessary. But if you see yourself eventually getting a green screen, yeah, sure. Will be along a squawk. Okay. I think this is Zijun. If I mispronounce your Chinese name, please do excuse Polly. Okay. I hope it's Zijun. Okay. Will being a loner struggle a lot? To be honest, I've seen loners before. Some perform exceptionally well. They are actually the one finishing the PA the earliest, being the one answering the quizzes the fastest and the most thoughtful. But there are also loners that I see at the beginning doing well, but about midterm exam time or towards the final exam, the loner team struggle a little bit making the deadline. So I see occasionally they submit late, and so some points get deducted. But I can tell that they are perfectly capable. But you see, real life is also this. The game rules are clear. Okay, well, some of the game rules in real life are not exactly clear. But the game rules for this course is clear, right? When you play a board game, when you play an online game, right? Or when you participate in a sports event, you know your rule well, you know your game well, right? So you think, what is the best thing to do? You think about the strategies, okay? Use your brain. In the meantime, of course, you exercise your body. Zijun, yes and no to your question. Zhen-En, how would the grading change depending on the number of the groups? How would the grading change depending on the number of the groups? Okay, Zhen-En, I'm not sure if I get the question, so maybe you want to ask the question in a slightly more explicit way. Do you mean that would the grading change depending on how many people are in the group? No, it won't change. To tell you the truth, loner group versus 3-person group, I actually don't see a clear difference in their grades. There's no correlation. There's no correlation. Yeah, there's just no correlation. Some people work well alone. Some people work well in groups. Some people work better in a compact group. So teamwork is actually something that's really important that you learn to do in college as well, because you need to know what kind of person you are as well. And you need to be able to identify a person who will make a good team with you. Sometimes individuals that are strong each, they don't necessarily make a good team. Interesting. Wei Shan, no problem. Okay, guys, I'm just teasing you, all right? I'm just teasing you. Okay, Zijun, that's correct. Great. What if I missed the quiz one yesterday? Hey, it's not due yet, so go to the video yesterday. That's what's nice about streaming over YouTube. Everything is there. truthfully recorded. So 中 中 Huan or Yuan. I'm actually not quite sure how to pronounce your name. Let me know if I mispronounce it. Okay. What if I missed the quiz one yesterday? Go back to yesterday's lecture recording. It's right there on the channel. So where is the channel? Hey, this is the course page. The channel is right here. That is actually the Polly Huang channel. Okay. Okay, it's taking some time. So this is the Polly Huang channel. You see that this session is ongoing. And if you go to the videos, I think you will see, yeah, episode 1 is right there in the channel. I hope that answers your question. Yu Huan, I hope I'm right. And where can we see if we are admitted to the course? It's gonna be on Slack in the announcement channel here. And I'm gonna post also who gets what code. So you will take the code and add yourself. But before you can be considered, you need to send me an email with specific information. That is what I was trying to explain by showing the course page. Yeah, these are the steps you need to take. And those who are looking to add, definitely review the lecture yesterday, because there are also some very important information disclosed yesterday. If you want to survive this course, do check them out. Okay, so you need to email me stating your name, student ID, department, and year. So if you neglected doing these, then I neglect the emails. So you are only considered when you receive an email back from Polly saying that you are on the waitlist number, something. Okay, so Polly did send a reply to you if you are in the waitlist. Jen and everyone get the same score in one group. Yeah. Everyone, very good. Now the question I understand. Yeah. So for the team effort, everyone in the team gets the same grade. But if I see someone in the team is contributing more, I add participation grades to those who make extra effort. And I can tell usually by how you guys send me emails, direct messages asking things, particularly for the TAs. I sometimes see someone submitting a PA solution that is so cool because the students actually went out and find new libraries for Golan and implementing something that they would like implementing in addition to what I asked for. And I was surprised. I thought the students are asking weird questions, but it turned out that the students actually went beyond what I have instructed. Okay, surprise me. That way I get extra credit to the students, and sometimes I get extra credit to the whole team as well. You have problem logging into Slack with my Google account? No, because the workspace does not allow general Google account. It only allow account from NTU. So Tianya, I know that you missed yesterday's lecture. Go back to the video yesterday. After watching the video, you should know how to join the Slack workspace, right? And you're welcome. And Chen Di. Good. Yeah, so Chen Di, thank you for helping Tianya with this. Tianya, I tried, didn't work. Interesting. Did you try to get an account in that Gmail with Slack first? Okay. Well, I guess Tianya, direct message Tiandi. I mean, hey, I am happy to see you guys chit-chatting on the channel as well. All right. Well, you know what? It actually takes all the break time away. but we do need to take a break. So how about we take a break and feel free to chit chat or Qindi or Jen En helping Tianya getting into the workspace. We take a break. We'll come back at 11:31 and I'll introduce quiz number 2. And so before we go, let me just show you the content of quiz 2 so that way you can start looking for teammates even during the break. Okay, good. So break. And real quick, it's on the quiz is also on Slack channel W1 quiz 2. So if you already identified team members, feel free to solve this quiz. All right, so let me turn to the opening page. Yeah, good. Let's take a break. it's now 11:31. Okay, let's come back. Quiz number 2. Form a team of 1 to 3. After that, work on answering these questions. Okay. Q1, can you write poly email messages in Chinese? Yes or no? Q2, what exact day is exam number 3? Q3, how much penalty for PA1 submitted on September 16? Oh, 6 p.m. 1 second. Okay, how much penalty if you submit your solution for PA1 on that day, that time? Q4, can you type up questions in Chinese in the live YouTube channel? Yes or no? So post these as a reply to quiz 2 on Slack. And in the meantime, okay, type up the name and student ID of all the team members. Polly will go over your solutions and then tell you also the team number. And later on, we'll use that team number for reference in the future. Okay, so you know what? I know that you guys have already started looking. But you see, human relationship is complicated. I'm not quite sure, right? If you feel comfortable making a decision right on the Slack right now. So you might want to interview each other, for example. So for this quiz, yeah, it's actually not necessary that you answer all the questions Q1 to Q4 right now. As we went through the grading, particularly the PA and quiz, so these are the assignments essentially. They due on Saturday. Okay, so you have the rest of the day, you have the whole Friday, and you have like a good part of Saturday to decide. It's better that you identify something by Saturday. The last point in time to finalize, okay, which team you join or what team number you are will be the end of the second week. Yeah, the reason is because first of all, you guys need to complete quiz 1 and quiz 2 to be considered to add to the course. So some of you are still waiting to be added. So you have to form a team with someone first. Okay, and sometimes even if you try the best you can, there's just not capacity, so you might not be able to add into the course. And therefore, your team, who is a 2-person team, becomes 1. So that 1 person might not feel comfortable being a loner. So that 1 person might need also time to find a 2-person team to join, or forming a team with another 1-person team. So by this Saturday, at least form something, even as a loner, and provide your solution to the Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. There might still be some changes by the end of next week. But after next week, after next Saturday, the team formations will be finalized. Okay, so in a way, between now and next Saturday, 6 p.m., there's still time to try to merge or break. Good. So for the purpose of quiz 2, yeah, feel free to decide quickly. But you can always, check things around and see how the other students are performing, being active, asking questions, and ask if you can join their team. Okay. All right. In the meantime, so what happened here is that after giving a quiz, probably explaining the question, you guys giving some time to work on. Usually I will also take you to the Slack workspace so that you can see the answers from each other. This type of learning is actually very common, especially in real life. There are many problems existing in the world that nobody knows the right answer for. I mean, of course, there are problems that there are correct answers, but a lot of times there are no correct answers. You might have your own answer. It's actually not a shame to say it, right or wrong, to my opinion. Okay, I mean, Polly is a professor. I'm not God. I make mistakes too. In fact, lots of mistakes. But I thought those mistakes are very important. Those mistakes I made are very important because a lot of times what I do is I try to learn from the mistakes. Okay. The other day there's one student interviewing being a 专题生. It's a special topic that the undergrad students can do with the professor so they can see if they have the potential to pursue something that's more advanced towards graduate programs, graduate study. The student asks a question, what do I need to learn to be you? Well, that's a very good question. I mean, good question in a way that I don't know how to answer that. I'm still thinking what is the right answer. I don't know how I become I. Do you know how you become you? Did I specifically learn something so that I'm I, you are you? Well, maybe you can help me answering that question. All right, so you see, hey, Zijun says, for Q1, no, not allowed to write Polly in Chinese. Hey, you're not allowed to write me in German or any other languages either. So this is an English course, let's stick to English. A course in English, so let's stick to English. Q2. Yeah, I think it's December 22nd. Finally, we take a break in the Christmas. Although the break starts a little bit late, but nonetheless better. And Q3, deducting 10%. Q4, yeah, no. All right, very good. Okay. 红木白和思和郭雨婷 forming one team, a 3-person team. That's cool. No, unless you have trouble expressing yourself. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Sometimes you have trouble finding English expression, right, for exactly what you're feeling right now. I think I received an email from an exchange the other day, and the exchange student used a 4-word Chinese phrase, 成语. That was a really hard phrase. I was very impressed. Okay, so I provided a little bit more help to the student. Let's see. Yes, if you are short of words. Okay, but generally on YouTube channel, on chat channel, which is not exactly real time, try. But I know sometimes there are phrases, it's not easy to find Chinese words for it. So the principle is that you try to use English as much as you can. That's the only way to master a language. The only way to master a language. Oh, wow, okay. You see here? 冠廷. This is a perfect example to address quiz 2, right? I ask name and student ID of all team members. Well done. Applauses. Where are my applauses? Okay, maybe monkey. Okay, sorry. Okay, I like these emojis. Monkeys. Hey, how about a drink? A COVID virus maybe also. Great job, great job. Perfect example, 100 points. Okay. By the way, these emojis don't mean much. It's just that, I feel happy, excited, then I give you these, special emojis. All of them are positive. Monkeys applause. Hey, why not? They're cute. Although a little bit scary, but cute. There. 明泽 here. Wei Ke and Ximen. Great. Oh, wow. Okay, so these are international students forming teams with domestic students. Perfect. This is exactly what we're hoping for, isn't it? Guys, what else better? Getting to know people from not in Taiwan or not from Taiwan, right? So if you like traveling, this is like, no need to travel and you get to know people from other places. Okay, Jinwei, very good. Yeah, here's another team, very good. Oh, you are actually awarding yourselves 200 points already. So let me just add one more 100. I think there's another team. Okay. So I guess Jinwei is waiting to reassemble and forming a bigger team. Very good. 99% no. Okay. Quantitatively speaking, Naiming is probably a student that's very quantitative. Do you like math? Interesting. Boyu also. And yeah, well elaborated. This is short of words. Very good. Great. Okay. Okay, so this is a 2-student team. Cool. Okay. And I understand for Anna, it's probably a little bit hard to type the name of the domestic student. So B07901-120. If you may, definitely communicate with Anna the spelling of your name. Okay. So hey guys, you know what? You can always come and edit like this, right? Okay. So I cannot edit your messages. I think you can find something towards the right of your post, right? If you move the cursor to the right, then you can edit your own message, add your own comment, so you can sort of enrich, okay, complete the answer. So yeah, this is a lot what we do after we have a quiz. Okay, so the idea is that we just talk. I'm sorry that you don't talk, you type, but we talk. Hopefully, gradually, you also feel that you want to talk. Okay, that's when you start using the Google Meet and speak. And by the way, if you guys can find a way just allowing us to talk freely somehow on YouTube Live, that'd be great. I think that's something that's missing for these live streaming services. Yeah, real time talking on live streaming services. So in a way, a live stream, we can switch modes. Streaming mode versus interactive mode. Currently, all we do on YouTube Live, on Facebook Live, on Twitch, it's streaming all the way, and then you have a little chat box there to do interaction. I think that's a deficiency, or although better than nothing, but no, not the perfect way to do it. All right, good. So I think that's enough communication. We'll give a new line. Okay, that's a good point. So if you see Aaron here, the TA, just provided some help how you can try to type a message on Slack and creating paragraphs on Slack. Yeah, I think that's a very commonly asked question or a common trouble. So what I do is I go to preference and I go to this thing called advanced. And then it was originally this. When writing a message, press enter to send the message. So I change it to start a new line, okay, with enter. But to send, it would be a command enter or shift enter for Windows system. So if you change to start a new line with an enter, then you can type your message, press enter, and it creates a new line instead of sending your message straight away. And so when you create a few blank lines and finish your message, what you do to send the message is to do shift enter, or I think simply type the errors on the lower right. Yeah, so you guys are also trying to get familiar with the Slack platform. All right, great. Yeah, otherwise it's hard to make what you want to say in a clean format. Good. All right, I see some of you are still typing things up. It's okay. But let's see if we can actually start talking about the internet. And we'll start from the terminology. All right, this is chapter 1, introduction. Well, before we introduce what is internet, let me bring up these terms: human, calculator, computer, system, device, network, communication, information, and data. You see already, right? Some of the terms are very similar. Kind of, you can easily associate them, but some of the terms, if you look at them as a pair, they are somewhat different. Now, if you're asked to try to group these terms based on similarity, feel free to define what you think, how you define similarity. Okay, so let's take some time. I think it's probably not that hard to associate terms. For example, calculators and computers, very similar, just slightly different on the functionality, right? Device systems, seemingly general, but they all kind of refer to a sort of engineered, machinery. But what about network? Is network the same as a device? Or similar to a device? I think starting from there, you guys might be thinking a little bit differently, right? From individual to individual. Well, whatever you guys are thinking, let me show you what pollys language IQ is. Okay, so what I see, based on my background about computer networks, I kind of think that human, calculator, computer, system, device are all entities. Okay, and by the way, pollys language IQ is not always the highest. Well, you know about poly, not very good in terms of language expressing in terms of words. Okay, so I think these human, calculator, computer system, and devices are all entities, and one can actually associate these entities and form a group. For example, all of us, some of us know each other, we form a network of humans. And you could actually try to connect the calculators by Bluetooth interface, for example, then you end up with a network of calculators, right? If you connect a group of computers, then you have a network of computers, network of systems, and a network of, for example, wearable devices. Okay. And if we exchange information over the group of associated entities, then you are communicating this group of humans or this group of computer systems or device. And the stuff, okay, we're communicating over such a network are the information or data. So we send data or information, and these are the things we communicate over the network of computers. All right. So they are somewhat different, and allow Poly to try to classify them into these entities, okay, grouping of entities, the function of the group, and the content. Okay, we are actually applying function on among this group of entities. All right. Now, think human network. And if we define a human network by how we know each other. Okay, so if you guys now know Poly, then you guys are connected to me, right? So you know how to go on Slack and send Poly a direct message. You know how to send Poly a direct email. Mm-hmm. How about you guys knowing each other? Right? If you guys know each other, then you also have a connection between the two of you, right? So you guys are not just connected to Poly, but some of you are connected to each other. And all of us here sitting in the classroom, we also form a human network, right? Then that should make it a little bit easier to think, what is a computer network? It's a network of computers. You guys will probably be saying, right? Intuition says so. You are actually mostly right, okay? But allow me to clarify, in this course, it's not exactly right. So again, in general sense, it is a network of computers, right? Based on our, language IQ, right? Because computers, if we connect them together, it is a network of computers, right? Literally. But in a professional sense, in this course, okay, when people say, or if you read in the textbook that you see this term, computer network, introduction to computer network, but we actually meant more specifically the internet. And this internet, a lot of times we call it computer network, but we also call it this, the data network. So computer network, data network, what else? Sometimes, right, information network. Let me see. Sometimes also this. Communication network. Okay, so they all kind of refer to internet. Okay, but computer network and data network are more specifically to internet. Communication network in professional speaking can also be, for example, 4G net or the telephone network. Telephone network was the old network where you have these wire phones and you just talk to each other instead of texting each other. Okay, so communication network is a little bit general. Okay, while data network very specific. Okay, professionally speaking, the internet, same as computer network. All right. And just to clarify, but okay, judging on the words, computer network, it is a network of computers. And it's actually referring to a network based on the entities involved. Data network is a network that transmits data. So data here is actually referring to the network based on the content, the stuff, okay, being transmitted. And communication network here is referring to a network because of the function of that network is to allow communication. Okay, so entity, function, and the content, okay, that we're passing or connected as a network. So in other words, okay, you can also define, create your own computer network, not just the internet. So there could be internet version 2, 3, 4, and on. Okay, but those other networks will not be the computer network, the internet that we're using. All right. So you probably see a little bit where Poly is going. The objective in the long term is so that you guys are trained, so you could create your own network that will work better and serve better the need of the people, okay? Especially people that will be living in the future. But in the short term, let's start from learning, okay? The most popular example, the internet. And that takes us to the beginning of chapter 1. All right, so key point. Data network, internet. Computer network, internet. Communication network, it's a little bit general, a little bit fuzzy. All right, now let's talk about the flow of chapter 1. The goal in chapter 1 is so that you guys get a rough idea, get a feel of how internet is like. There'll be a lot more depth and detail later in the course in chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so you will see, right, this being the overview of everything, much of the content you'll be hearing in this chapter will be more descriptions. Okay, so we have this part that's called the edge of the internet. We have that part being called the core of the internet. Yeah, so you just hear a bunch of terms, and then there'll be a little bit more elaboration on other terms. And much of the content concerns internet, but we'll also talk about parts that, communication networks that is not quite called internet and pre-existed before there's internet. Good. And the flow of the chapter is this. We'll start from giving you a nutshell of what internet is in a few slides, like 3-4 slides. Okay, so it's like a crash course. Okay, if you really need to explain to your classmates or other friends, you're taking this course and what is the internet like? Yeah, that will be the part that you tell them what internet is. Now, in that part, we'll give you the physical view of what the internet is. But with just the infrastructure, we cannot be sending emails to each other. We cannot be chatting online through Line or through Slack to each other. So there'll be some rules we need to define how the data are being exchanged, how these computers or entities on the internet interact with each other. So there'll be some rules we need to learn as well. And we call a set of rules controlling a certain mechanism, defining a certain mechanism working on the internet, a protocol. Okay, there'll be a lot more coming. And then these two will be actually to further zoom into the nutshell view of the internet and to give you a little bit more idea how the edge is like and what are the varieties of the edges could be. And then we'll talk about the core. We'll talk about the core. Yeah, this is actually the part that's hidden. They exist, it's just that we don't see it. Okay, there are lots of very expensive routers. They are interconnected, passing data in really, really high speed. So up to this point, you should get a rough feeling of what the internet is and how it's, working in general. Now, the rest of it, okay, so these are the things concerning internet and that we are supposed to care, okay, as engineers who might be redesigning internet. So we care about how the internet perform in terms of data loss. Certainly, we don't like to see a lot of data losses. We care also whether it takes a lot of time to send data. Okay, hopefully we will be able to send data with short delay and things like that. And we'll talk about protocol again. There are quite a few protocols that we use actually sending email, browsing the web every day. And there's actually a very special way we group also protocols. So earlier you heard Polly trying to exercise you a little bit more and trying to link certain terms together. You know what? The protocols, because there's so many of these, okay, it's actually better that we kind of structure or sort of group the protocols so that it's a little bit easier to talk about. And the way network engineers group the protocol is so that we kind of divide them into layers. Within each layer, they are associated, they are similar in a certain way. Okay, so that's also called the service models. Okay, so it's actually a model that network engineers communicate with each other, okay, classifying protocols into different layers. And then this is nowadays something that we care very much, security. Particularly network security. How do we make sure that the data being transmitted are not hijacked, are not hacked, okay, and the secrets are not unveiled? All right, so that's what we'll be talking about next week, essentially. All right, we do have a bit more time, so let's go ahead and start the physical view, okay, of the internet. And we'll start by talking about the components, okay, the physical components constructing the internet. Now, what is the internet? So this picture that I'm showing is a very coarse-grained view of the internet, where you can kind of see that this part being the ISPs, okay, internet service provider. All there are in these ISPs are just these cylinders with the cross, okay, indicating that this is an exchange. So ISPs, the machines in there are mainly there to do data exchange. And then you guys are here, most of you guys are here. In NTU is an institutional network where you might be accessing the internet through wireless AP, so this is Wi-Fi. Some of you might be sitting in the dorm and having wired connection, having a PC accessing through wired connection. And some of you might be sitting at home, then your laptop connecting to Wi-Fi AP, and then connect to your ISP, and then to the rest of the internet. Now, some of you might be sitting in a cafe. That would be nice, I know. And then you guys are probably accessing the internet through your 4G network and watching the video on the laptop. That is a mobile network there you are accessing, or you can just call it wireless network if you want. Okay, so this is just saying that there are a number of different ways, a number of different kinds of access to the core of the internet. Now, in a little bit more detail and give you the full nuts and bolts view, so meaning the components. So first of all, you see the entities we're using as users are all these, okay, computing devices, PC, server, wireless laptop, smartphones. Okay, and these things are called hosts, or more professionally, end systems. Okay. We don't just call them systems because there's one common feature among these spatial hosts. They are all kind of sitting at the very very end of this huge internet. Okay. End systems, very edge of the internet. And then, as I mentioned, right? So whatever machine you're using, whatever end systems you're using, you are connected somehow, right? To a cellular tower, right? To a Wi-Fi AP, to a institutional switch. Okay, so inside NTU, there are also a number of these routers exchanging data because we do have several departments, right? So you see typically institutional networks, there are a few more level of hierarchy than the home network, than the mobile network. But some of you could be accessing the NTU PEEP, a wireless network to the internet, all right? So these access networks, what I meant by access network there are not really there's a network, okay? Really, they are communication links, right? So if it's wireless, then we are using a radio link. If it's wireless and through a satellite modem, it's a satellite link. Now, if you're connected from home, chances high that it's a fiber link. Now, if you are connected through Ethernet I know for sure is copper link. All right, so these are different communication links we might use to access the internet. They can be wireless and wired. Now, these different access link or communication link technologies are all slightly different in terms of this, the transmission rate, the number of bits they can transmit per second, BPS. Now, in this course, computer networks, we also call this transmission rate the bandwidth. It actually meant more the width of the communication band, okay, of the network band. Now, this is somewhat different from if you take electromagnetic wave courses when we're talking about, oh, there's certain frequency band in the EM waves that we're using to transmit modulate bits. Okay, so bandwidth there is also referring to the frequency band. But here, the bandwidth, we actually refer to the network channel band. All right. At the abstract level, it's also a band, but we actually meant the band of slightly different things. And last, very important entity. Most of us don't see a router in our everyday life. If you want to see one, I don't know, check out these videos released by Google and showing their data center. All these, slim boxes there is a router. Okay, and they are running all the time, passing data, forwarding data in really high speed. Okay, and by the way, I'm actually saying the routers forward packets because on the internet, the data are usually divided into chunks. Okay, and these chunks are referred to as packets. So later on, you'll see me saying data packets or data messages. Okay, I actually meant things that are similar. So routers, well, there's just one thing, routers. Of course, these routers are manufactured by a different company, so therefore there are different brand names like Cisco, like D-Link, yeah, lots of them. Juniper, there's another one, a major one in the States. All right, so that's the physical view of the internet. And it's already 12:06. We'll stop the lecture today here and continue. We are not yet done with the entire physical view. All right. So we'll continue the lecture next Wednesday, 1:20. All right. So feel free if you have questions, type up or speak up from Google Meet. But be aware, we are still streaming. So if you speak through the Google Meet, your sound will be recorded and then stream out on YouTube as well. But if you don't mind, just mute the YouTube session and then feel free to ask questions from the Google Meet sessions. And Belen, you probably want to test your audio out again. Feel free to do so. All right, so for those who don't have questions, I see you next week. Choo-choo. Choose. Wait, what? That's Swiss German of saying goodbye. Probably also a German way of saying goodbye. Okay, bye, Anne. Yeah, so maybe for today, when you go out into a cafe where you can drink coffee in the meantime, check on the Slack whether you have already formed a team. Think about internet is a super cool thing. It's the thing that's enabling you to do all these things that is so convenient. You don't have to see a person to be a teammate of someone else. Yeah, similarly here. Oh, au revoir. Au revoir. Adios. Yeah, Belen, goodbye. It's actually a little bit hard to tune the fonts on Google Meet. Because you have trouble. I have emailed you already. Okay, I'll check that. right. And we did reach our time limit, so let me end the stream here.